Hi guys, in this video I'm going to be talking about PdL2Ork, which is something we've been looking at in class. PdL2Ork is a open source visual programming language for computer music, electronic music. PD stands for Pure Data, which is the core software, and then LORK stands for Laptop Orchestra, which is the package of plugins for Pure Data. So here is something, this is just my notes from class. Here on the left is useful objects. This is something that has been provided by my professor, and we're going to go through it to get a good base of what's happening. So just super quick. PD main volume, this is just your main volume, and what's required for PD to work is you have to turn your DSP on. Let me reset it just to make sure it works. And have your volume set to your outputs. And so in here, we've been given these different presets and kind of pre-made pieces to make stuff. And I kind of just opened up the software and started playing with some things. This is my hello world. This is one of the first things that I attempted to make happen and just try to use. Like, it took me a while to figure out how this software worked, and this is what I could make it do. So down here, this box right here is a visualizer, and that's going to visualize the sine wave that is produced. And following the pathing here, I started with an oscillator. I gave it two number inputs, one to change the phase and one the phase shift, and one to change the frequency. So we can set this frequency to whatever we want. Anything below 20 is not discernible by ear. So let's set this to, like, I don't know, I like 60. Let's do a 60. And that's going to tell this oscillator to oscillate at a frequency of 60. And right here is a multiply object, which has a number input into it. And so that number will determine our amplitude. This also has a slider if you want, which you can kind of adjust to do certain things. It's going to multiply by 0, so that will just turn it off. Or if we turn it on, it will multiply by 1, therefore on. And so that multiplies the amplitude. So it gives us a signal, sets the frequency of that signal, multiplies the signal, generally just on or off, and sends it to the DAC, the DAC, the output. So this is my straight output. That's essentially telling it, go play from the speakers. And over here, we have a visualizer, which when you turn that on, it will animate a little graphic of the sine wave being produced. Let's see, there we go. That's a good spot, 35. And so that's the sine wave that frequency is making right there. This metro is a metronome. We talked about that earlier, and it's just gonna make a clock. So if this might get uncomfortable. Hey, but there we go. And so there we have just like a fun little thing. And let's bring this down. So that popping you're hearing is the instant. It's the sharp cut of the sine wave being set to that 0 line. You can make this smoother by introducing more math, but I haven't figured that out quite yet. Down here is just a copy and paste of that waveform that my professor had provided, and I'll just give you a show of how that works. Let's do a 200 hertz. 201 hertz triangle wave. Okay, see, that's not very fun. Let's do, I don't know why, but when I copy and pasted this this graphic stopped working. But you get the point. Can make some Yeah, you can make some interesting noises with that. So, okay, that's your basic introduction.